Time you're watching this video, we just had a massive cold front that just went across the country, and no matter where you're at right now, your water's either iced over or you are going to fish some very cold water. And today in this video, our team on Bass Fishing Declassified is about to go over their lures to throw when them water temperatures get in the 40s. Now let's get into it. Okay guys, for me, I'm down here, I'm in the south, kind of the south portion, Arkansas to Texas. Louisiana is kind of where I fish at. And I'm going to be talking about highland impoundments for this segment of the video. But this can work in lowland as well. But guys, when them water temps get in the 40s, I know for me, one of my lures that I tie on and get out on the deck, it's a crankbait, but it's a specific crankbait. But it is a wigglewort style crankbait. I know a long time ago when I was young, I was a co-angler in a tournament. And we were fishing Lake Ouachita. Water temps were in the 46, 47 degree range. And the guy I was paired with, very experienced angler, big time. I mean, good. He was a former professional angler even. He made the quote, "The wigglewort's on the deck when the water temps get under the 50s." And I've kept that with me forever. Guys, I have a variety of wigglewort styles. Now, it don't have to be a wigglewort. It could be like the Spro rock crawler. Okay, this right here, I believe, is the 55. It might be the ND 55 that goes a little deeper. But I like to have a little bit different depths. So, like, here's a newer wigglewort right here. It's in that blue pattern. I think they call it Phantom Blue. Nah, I don't want to be wrong. But you see the bill's a little shallower, so it goes shallower than this one. Now, guys, with the wigglewort, though, one thing about it, like you see this one here, this color here I like in that stain to muddy water. Like let's say next week, or not next week, it is next week. After this front comes through and these water temps get 45 to low, if you get a couple days of sun, that stain to muddy water, it's going to warm up quicker, and I'm going to be going up to the river sections of the Highland Reservoir looking for channel swing rock banks, channel swing points, looking for rock transitions. Try to make it simple, okay? But remember, rock warms up, and that stain to muddy water warms up faster. I like this color in the muddy water. Had some really good days with this color on lakes I fished in the past couple years, and but it was always the sunny days or a couple sunny days up to it. Now, one thing, guys, I know that Johnny on Fish the Moment shared with the rock crawler, okay, is like I just talked about the easy. Hope I didn't mess up my mic up there. I just talked about kind of like the easy kind of way to look for them. Your channel swing rock banks, your transitions, stuff you see with your eyes and you can pick out on a map. Johnny, though, on Fish the Moment made a video a couple years back of a flat. It was Main Lake. I don't know the lake. Might have been Table Rock Guys or one of those lakes up there that he fishes. But it was a flat near the main lake, but it had a rock pile on it. Rock pile is only 15 foot. And man, he caught him really good with the rock crawler, and he duplicated that pattern throughout that section of the lake. Now, these rock piles are not easy to find, okay? I mean, they're not. You don't see them on a map. You do not see them on, of course, sometimes Google Earth, if the lake's real low, you can. But you have to use your 2D down imaging, side imaging to find these. And he did, in that day, found a couple rock piles, would catch 2 to 3 fish off of each one with a rock crawler. I remember that day, too, he threw a jig and maybe caught 1 or 2 fish, but there was just something about it that day. They wanted the rock crawler, okay? So, guys, once again, water temps in the 40s, a wigglewort style for me is on the deck. I'll go ahead and talk about rods, I guess. Crankbait rod, guys, is huge. Having a crankbait style. Now, I know with me, these lighter lures, that longer rod might be hard to throw with them. I try to throw these with the 7.6, but man, it can be, depending on it, a little, tough and with the wind. So a 7.2 to 7.4 might be a little bit better just because they are so light. I'd rather go lighter line, 10 to 12 pound test, gives it better action, lets it dives a little deeper, and once again, you're banging these off them rocks, okay? Definitely that stain to muddy water, the fish might not be all up suspended, and you're not fishing it deep. Like I said, these guys don't go super deep. So they're kind of be close to them rocks where it's warmer, and guys, you're banging them off them, trying to create that reaction strike. Now, guys, let's go see what Randy has to say about his lure to throw in 40-degree water.
Hey guys, welcome back here to another edition of Bass Fishing Declassified. I really appreciate you guys joining us for today's video. And we're going to be giving tips and advice on how to catch bass during the coldest water temperatures of the year, which are usually right now in the month of January out there, because a lot of the lakes across the country, unless you're way down south, you get water temperatures that drop down into the 40s in January, and sometimes the water temperatures drop below 40. Like here in Missouri, I'll fish in water temperatures 37, 38 degrees throughout the winter. There might be some ice on the lake, but there's enough open water to fish, and there's a couple different techniques I want to talk about that are really productive in that super, super cold water. Now, I'm not going to show you guys, but first there's two different techniques that we'll talk about here. First of all, you can't discount a jerkbait. I mean, if you guys have watched many of our Bass Fishing Declassified videos over the past month or so, you've heard me talking a lot about jerkbait, so that's sort of a given. That's a good cold water bait. But the specific bait I want to show you guys today that works in the coldest water temperatures, like when the water temperatures are your absolute coldest. This is my favorite technique. This is a Zoom Tiny Fluke, and I've got a 1/32 ounce core tackle hover rig head inside of it here. This is a truly diminutive Finesse type bait. 32nd ounce hover rig head, Zoom Tiny Fluke here. This bait's only like a little over 2 inches long. Now what I do with this thing is I fish it on 4-pound test Seaguar Visix line with that Megabass whip snake spinning rod, a super, super light technique. Guys, you have to use 4 for this to work good with the 32nd ounce head on there. If you use 6-pound test on a bait that's this small, it sort of feels like you're at overkill a little bit. So go to the 4-pound test. You can still land big fish on 4-pound test in open water, and that's where you fish this at. So what I'm looking for, guys, is there's 2 different type of areas that I fish the little Tiny Fluke on when it's super cold. Number 1 is any bluffy or steep type of a channel bank. So it can be a main lake bluff, on the main body of the water, or you can go back into some of the major creek arms and fish some of the steepest banks within that creek arm. Now, my absolute favorite type of area to look for when you're talking about steep banks and bluffs is if you have bluff banks within a creek, because there's always a population of bass that live on the most steepest vertical banks in those creeks. And I'll take the little Tiny Fluke with the hover rig head on it with the 4-pound line, basically throw it up there to the bank, and I'm just sort of slowly hopping it and swimming it down to 15 or 20 feet, depending upon the water visibility. This is a clear water technique, so it's not going to work unless you have water visibilities of really, less than 3 feet. You need water visibilities ideally between 4 to 6 feet. But I'll take the little outfit here, throw it up there. I want to keep it close to the bottom, and I'm just sort of like, pumping it a little bit and just reeling it slow. I'm not really jerking it. I'm not just really reeling it. I'm just trying to pull it and pump it, where it just sort of, glides along the bottom and comes up a little bit like that, sort of like a minnow. Now, the other way that I fish it, guys, is on main lake points, and you can fish this Tiny Fluke with the hover rig head vertical on main lake points. So what I do is I'll get out on those main lake and some of the secondary creek points. If the water visibility is over 4 foot, I'll graph around the point ends and sides, and I'll look for bait fish on my 2D sonar. And once I see bait fish, say for example, if I see them down, 20 feet deep, suspended 20 feet deep over 40 feet of water, I'll take my little Tiny Fluke, pitch it out 15 or 20 feet in front of the boat, let it pendulum back down until it gets vertical, and I'll just sit there and shake it over those shad schools, almost like I was crappie fishing. So it's a really good technique to work vertical or casting horizontally, swimming it and hopping it back to the boat. But anyway, guys, give it a try. Just a little diminutive Tiny Fluke, 1/32 ounce hover rig head, not the 16th. You need the 1/32. It's gonna make a big difference. It'll get you some bites in the coldest water of the year. So hope it helps out.
Okay, guys, this part of the video is supposed to be Matt's part, but Matt been busy, had a lot of stuff kind of come up, and so I'm going to kind of go into Matt. Now, Matt was going to talk about a jerkbait. I'm not going to talk about a jerkbait. We've had a lot of jerkbait videos on the channel recently. We have another good one coming up. I'm going to share with you guys a new kind of lure to me for the cold water. And it's not like a new technique or new genre. Before, I love a jigging spoon. It's been a while that I've had good days on the jigging spoon, but the jigging spoon to me was something I always did good in these cold conditions. But now the new lure, and I just got a bunch of them, and I'm going to talk to you guys about, but is the jigging wrap, okay? So this is the Rapala original jigging wrap, and now, my little one's right here handing them to me, now they got the Magnum one, okay? So with this jigging wrap, it's kind of like you fishing in areas with a jigging spoon. I know this has been very popular in the Ozark Lakes. 3-4 years ago, Johnny Schultz even told me I need to buy a bunch of these and go try them out. And I just didn't. And now I'm going to give them a shot. And on my new YouTube channel, guys, the Fishing Coach, I hope to have a video with me catching these and going over just the technique of just me learning about it. Once again, I'm not Cody Huff. You can go, guys, YouTube Cody Huff videos, because this is one of his deals. But guys, I'm gonna go try it out. I love trying new stuff out. And this is gonna be something new to me, okay? Like I said, I've caught fish with the jigging spoon. You've watched enough videos of me on the channel. I love the giant spoon, but I've never done the jigging rack. And I know it could be a player in the clear water and probably stained water scenarios as well. Now, guys, about the jigging rack, what I'm gonna be looking for is gonna be main lake, could be humps, could be near the channel. I'm gonna be looking near that main river channel. Could be the mouth of creeks too. I know bait, you're gonna be trying to find bait and fish for bass relating to bait. But another thing that I'm gonna try to do is find some fish in timber and pull them out of this in the timber. Okay, guys, one thing too that I noticed, just to talk about it, let me see this, buddy. On the back here, on this instructions, it says how to fish, you know, it does mention to tie the lure with a loop knot or a small swivel snap. If I didn't read that, I would have just tied it normal. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and try the small swivel as well. I know when I've watched Cody fish this, he does it with a spinning rod. So, I mean, guys, you know me, I've talked about how I was not a big spinning rod guy, but in the last year, I've slowly gotten back to the spinning rod. Dude, fun to catch fish on a spinning rod. So I'm probably gonna throw this on a spinning rod as well. Just, you know, catch a 2-pound fish on it. It's gonna be a blast. So guys, let me know if you're still watching this. Let me know in the comments if you've had success with the jigging wrap, any tips to go along with it. And once again, if you're interested, check out my new YouTube channel, The Fishing Coach, and I am going to hopefully have a video on this to help you guys out and just to kind of go through my experience with it. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on